Good morning, everyone, and welcome to MindCraft Peace, my podcast. I'm your host, Katerina Newbury, and my guest today is the lovely Lise Van Passel or Elisabeth Van Passel, who I'm really pleased to have with me today because we have so much in common. So let me introduce Liz briefly. Liz is an accredited mindfulness and meditation teacher. She's also an intuitive energy healer, and her background is in physiotherapy, personal training, and acupuncture. And she blends her work, that is meditation, with different healing modalities. And she's shared some superpowers with me, but we'll come to those in a moment. And I was drawn to invite Elise on to my podcast because we both trained with Lorraine Murray, who's the founder of Connected Kids, a wonderful program for anyone who wants to teach children meditation, however, from like a heart sentence based and intuitively. And when someone pops up for you across the social media and then you're drawn to them, it's like, there's something about Liz. I think I'd like to connect with her. So it's my pleasure to have you here, Liz. How are you this morning?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm actually super nice also, super happy also to connect with you because I was following your work and loved the way you honestly spoke about all your thoughts and your creations and how you inspire other parents to really bring some mindfulness within their families.
Oh, thank you. It was meant to be, as they say. So here we are. It's the 21st of September, and it so happens that next week, Connected Kids are running a 5-day meditation or teach meditation challenge. So we'll be speaking to parents who would be interested to trying it out for themselves and for their children. We'll share the details later and in the links. But I have introduced you now, Liz, from what you've shared with me. What would you like to say about yourself in addition, as an introduction to what I've already said, so people know a little bit more?
So perhaps maybe how I came to meditation. So the first time I got introduced to meditation was when I was a young acupuncturist and I just started my own clinic. And it was super exciting and I was extremely happy and proud about that. But I realized that I picked up a lot of things from my clients. I could often feel their pains. I could pick up on their emotional fields and sometimes even their thoughts and patterns. And even if that was sometimes beneficial to help the treatments, it really gave me a big sense of fatigue and overwhelmness of all these impressions. So my first impression with meditation was in a course that was called Intuitive Development. And I guess in that course, I learned probably more about my own energy, about my body than I learned all my years in school. And it inspired me it's kind of made me start this journey of constant wanting to learn more and know more because there is so much more to learn about health and creating a life that is really major, joyful and easy. And so that was my first introduction to meditation. And I came to acupuncture as a person that had suffered many years from severe back pain, being really probably overloaded with emotional baggage too. And I blamed everyone and everything for my pains and my issues. And I kind of felt like I was just unlucky. I didn't take any responsibility for my own issues. Up to a point where I think I was about 22, I think 22, 23. I had this vision of myself. I said, if I continue like this, I can see myself ending up in a wheelchair when I'm 30, because the pains were so often and so much and daily that I often would party more and drink more alcohol just to cover up with the pain. And I would just have many days off work that I couldn't just go. Some part of me was hiding most of all of these things for my friends and even some of my family, just to keep going, being the nice person you are, and you want to fit in and make your life like everyone else does. So that led me to studying acupuncture and getting a much deeper understanding in how it's all connected, how I really need to take responsibility for my body and my emotional life and my mental life. And that was a big shift, and it took many years for me to clean up my mess, to clean up my body, start eating healthy, and really listen to my body, listen to what it says and act upon it, instead of just accepting, demanding that my body would be able to do the same things as a sister or a friend. So that was a really good lesson for me. It inspired me to share that a little bit with my clients, to go into their body, and then secondly into your heart, and then into your mental space. Like, what are you doing all day in your mind, and what's going on? So that was my first leap into meditation. And then much later in life, like when I lived in Sweden and I had 2 young kids, I felt like I was not the good mom that I wanted to be. And I felt often impatient and tired, and I had a lot of time. So there was enough time for me to be a good mom. And still it was hard. And dropping back into meditation, because there was a class there, made me realize that even 10 minutes of meditation, centering myself, coming back to my heart, was such a simple thing, and it's increased my level of patience immediately. The thoughts in my head, like from worrying and blaming that I had another bad night because one kid was ill and woke me up every hour, went into, I can just accept that that was my night, and I'm not going to spend my energy on blaming the world for it. I'm going to just enjoy my day anyway. So it opened up a lot of possibilities for joy for me, just joy, having just a better life, easier and more fun and more energy. And of course, my kids felt the shift too. And when they were probably 3 and 5, they would sometimes even ask me if I had done my meditation, if things got a bit heated up at home, and they would just know and feel and pick up on that energy. So from there my journey began to think, how can I teach my kids this, and not at the age when they're like me, when I was back then, probably 35. How can they learn this when they're young, to really stay connected to their body and be true to themselves and not hide their emotions, but actually process them? So that was the beginning of the search to how to teach children meditation. I really didn't plan on working with children. It just then rolled from one step to the next.
Wow, so powerful. And there's so much that I think is valuable for others to hear. I guess I'll go back to a couple of points. One was your realization that you need to take responsibility for looking after your body, your mind, and spirit, really. Do you know what was the reason that you suffered the chronic pains? Not so much from the perspective of the medical, but like our bodies obviously hold so much wisdom within us, and like you say, once you listen to your body, you hear the messages. But what was the message for you?
On one hand, the message for me was to be more myself and not trying to please everyone all the time, and really trust whatever I felt, instead of thinking, that's not true, that's probably not true. To be open and honest, and not try to be the perfect person for the people around me. And I think also at home, perhaps I hadn't learned maybe how to process your feelings. Like, what do you swallow and how do you swallow it, and how much can one swallow? And then it becomes like an emotional baggage that is so abundant. So I'm sure that part of my chronic back pains and hip inflammations and skin problems came from not being myself, not loving myself enough. Like the self-love was not there. And I was very probably pretty and skinny, and I just treated my body like crap. I would eat very unhealthy and just didn't mind, because I wasn't getting fat anyway, even if I was eating all this crap. So I didn't really realize that my body was actually suffering so much. So my emotional life was a big part when I started cleaning that up through different types of techniques and therapies. And my physical health, eating healthy, and then starting to work on that self-love and growing.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that most of us need to get to a point when we're ready to make the changes. You can read articles, books, listen to people telling you about what's good for you, what's healthy, how your body is a temple, and yet we don't. We need to have a different kind of incentive, sometimes a bit more drastic than just knowing that it's good for you. Very powerful.
Yeah.
I resonate very much so about the fact that
I think your video is freezing for me, but perhaps, and your sound too. Can you still hear me?
I'm really sorry, everyone. My apologies to everyone and to you, Liz. My computer just crashed. There I was chatting away, and suddenly my screen was frozen. So I'm really sorry, but I'm back. And are we okay to carry on?
Sure. That's what life is all about.
I know. Right. The last thing I was talking about was appreciating your awareness of how important it is to look after ourselves, our body, and loving and accepting our body for the temple that it is. I resonate greatly in terms of a complicated relationship with my body. Mine has manifested in slightly different way. I certainly wasn't the one that wasn't putting on weight, but I caused myself I did offer things to my body that maybe that's for another episode. But I also wanted to just touch briefly on when you said how you realize meditation actually is important for you to be a better mum. That's one of the reasons that I started to meditate, because I was really struggling as a mum. I had this ideal about what a mum should be, and I was far from it, and I had no idea why. And when I found a way to build this better relationship with my children, respectful parenting, gentle parenting, I realized that I don't have the patience, like you mentioned, that, I know how, but in reality, it's just impossible to be, this kind, caring, calm, patient mother. And there was, this was one of the reasons I started meditating, to be the person. And it took time. It took many years and lots of healing as well, of other emotional baggage, as you called it. But for myself, my children have been the biggest teachers, and they're the ones for whom I wanted to become this, calmer, more patient person. So thank you so much for mentioning that. Would you tell us more about how you work with children, how you teach meditation? And also, you've mentioned the word heart. So before you answer, I'll just add that for me, opening the heart is like probably the biggest job we have for ourselves. Open our own hearts, then help others to open theirs. I don't know what it's been like for you, because your website is actually called Heart Power, and you've listed it as one of your superpowers. So when I read that you're a heart opener, someone who opens a heart, I was like, actually, I feel the same way. So would you tell us a little bit more about that and how you incorporate it into your work?
Yes, how nice that you feel it the same way. I think the meditation comes back to being who you already are. And that is like this purest being with an open heart. But unfortunately, this world is quite rough. And often at young age, we learn to protect ourselves. We build some walls here and there. And we just have these tiny little holes to peek through and see the world. And we feel safe behind our wall. But the safety mechanism works for a moment. But then the desire to live fully and to have joy and to love fully and to also receive love fully is always there. So it keeps on mixing us around until we kind of are ready to let go of this wall. And I think we all have things in childhood that have hurt us, because children are so sensitive and so pure that even the best parent cannot make sure that the child will never have any trauma. There is always small bits of trauma happening for children. And heart opening is the essence of life for me. And it's also the essence of my work. And that's why my business is called Heart Power.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah. It's a bit like when you go on a mountain hike for a few days. I love nature. I know you do too. We have a lot in common. Let's hope we can once meet face to face in real life instead of on the computer.
Yeah, isn't
Imagine
that's...
you're one of...
Yes.
Go ahead.
I love how you described the way children come into this world, that we are all born just being pure souls, and then life happens and we build these walls. And it's for me, that resonates so much, because especially in the world we live in now, it's easy for our reaction to just go back inside our shell and even kind of strengthen the walls, just to kind of not be affected by what's going on. But actually, what I've realized, we need to do the very opposite, and is actually open ourselves to, the experience of life. But because the heart, speaking from experience, can take so much, like it's so strong and powerful. We we can take it, and actually the heart absorbs it. And that's where the word courage comes in, because in English it comes, well, you speak French, so comes from a French word coeur, which means heart. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah. Yes.
So actually, to be brave, to be courageous, means to be in your heart and like act and move from the heart. So there's a lot of talk about children needing to be more resilient and be strong and be able to face this world, where I feel that the way to equip children in this way is actually through the heart. Because if you feel, like you said, if you feel good in your own skin, if you are being authentic self, you can deal with anything. You're equipped to it doesn't mean that, like you said, like trauma doesn't happen, painful and unpleasant things don't happen. That's not it. But you are so much better equipped to deal with it and still enjoy life than if you just kind of try and process everything mentally and be disconnected from your body, because that's what it means. If you're not in your heart, you're not in your body, and you're just in your mind.
Yes, beautiful. I love that connection between the cœur, the French word, and courage. Actually beautiful, because when you rock bottom in a deep dark place, and we all have these moments in life, you feel there is this, once you open up to this vulnerability, you feel there is so much power in us, and that is our heart. That is the love we carry around us, in us, and it's a source that you can never just run out of. It's always there. We just have to sometimes turn up the volume, break down some walls, give some space, and then we just realize, oh, it's still there. It's courage.
Okay. So how do you bring this approach to teaching children meditation?
Yeah, so I think in children, they are much closer to nature than we are, and they're still much more connected to these innate abilities that we have to solve everything in life. We actually have the solutions ourselves. We have all these powers. Of course, these days children live a lot inside. They're not a lot in nature. They have a very busy schedule. So there comes a lot to them. It's intense. And I think in my meditation classes, what I both if you do one-on-one or in groups, what I try to do most is just activate their innate powers again. And of course, we speak of self-love, and that is a major important one. Just trust the heart can handle a lot more, and increase self-love and make that a value that is a daily life thing, like touch your heart and be with yourself. And in classes, usually I also guide children to release stuff. They get so much information, their eyes picking up on not just a forest. They see screens, they see classrooms, they see so many things in one day. They hear so many things. So their senses are the way to connect to their heart, but they get overloaded so quickly because it's so much that the first thing they need is actually just to release. Go out in nature, dance, move, even simple things, because kids love imaginary games. It's like, okay, let's create an imaginary bin, and it's really beautiful, and you can decorate it, and now we pass around the bin, and you can just throw in whatever you saw today that doesn't serve you anymore. You can just leave it there. It's done, it's gone. And help them just first to release, then come back to their hearts in different ways. You can bring kids come back to their hearts, but usually they know best. Usually, I think as an adult, we forget how much the children know about themselves and about what their hearts need. So checking in with their heart. And then I think most children, when you bring them guided meditations like guided imagery, that's a form of stories that we use, and when you use it to help children to go into their imagination. There, of course, first they need to relax, and you can do some fun breathing techniques and games with them so they relax. Because if your body is not relaxed, you can't learn, you can't heal, and you can't be creative. There's nothing working, and you're kind of a block in ready to just wait for the next thing to fight. So if you first relax, there's coming this opening. And then when you relax, you can learn, but you can also create. And when we tap into the creative imagination of a child, they come up with their own solutions. We can guide them to a magical garden or a secret room where they can create whatever they need. They can invite helpers and animals and just add up whatever they need. And I think that was the part that probably you and I loved most about the training that we had at Connected Kids with Lorraine, because I had done a first teacher training in the Netherlands, which was also amazing. It was probably also one of the most life-changing weeks of my life with Rosalinda Wiel. But then in the Connected Kids course, I dived deeper, and I realized that using a script and reading a guided meditation works well, and kids will relax and enjoy the story. But in Connected Kids from Lorraine, I learned that actually if we do a heart-heart connection with the child or with the children or with the group, there is something totally different happening. And you can compare it with you're in nature and suddenly you feel all this beauty all around you, and you feel this, that is the same kind of feeling of connection that you can have with a child. It's just pure. You don't want anything from them. You don't want to fix them. You just want to have this heart-heart connection. And then things happen automatically. Yeah. Creation happens within the guided meditation. I think we both saw that in the Connected Kids teacher training.
For me, it was a beautiful confirmation that kind of the way I was doing things was the right way, and it just really gave me the confidence to, do more of it and trust it that I think that the most empowering thing you can do for kids is to make them realize that they have this power to help themselves, and that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them in whatever they hear outside, if they can come back to themselves and find that place where they realize, I can create this myself, I can help myself feel better in this way. I think that's like the greatest tool for life, really.
Definitely. I think sometimes parents and even close friends of mine think that we parents have to do like a deep training to be able to do this with their own children, but that is actually not true. We already have in us what we need as a parent to do this type of mindfulness practices and meditations with our children. We have it in us. We just need the love for our child, and we need our intuition. We need our heart.
That's it, isn't it? It's the heart, because if you try and operate from the mind, that's where you can't connect in an easy way with your children, or that if you work with children, with other children.
Yes. And children pick up on our energy, so of course we are responsible for helping them see that we lead by example. If we are completely stressed out, they will pick up on it, and they will not be able to follow us in the meditation. If we are like stressed and we want to rush through a guided meditation to put them to bed, they pick up on it, and it will never be what you want it to be. So I think as a mother and as a father or as a grandparent, the biggest thing is to just get started and then trust the process. And it's much easier than people think it is. And of course, there is another level when you want to teach groups and when you teach schools and when you want to do professional job like teaching meditation. But any adult, any parent can learn this.
Yeah, I really resonate with this because like I've said before, the reason I meditate and started teaching children meditation is because my own children were such a mirror to my own emotional state and the fact that I can't regulate my nervous system, and they were on the receiving end of whatever I was kind of, what was happening for me. And the fact that it's 24/7, they're the greatest teachers, because you can't, in a job, you leave the office and, you come back the next day. But with children, especially when they were younger, it was full on. And I'm forever grateful for this. And I want to kind of maybe send out a little encouragement, because I will be honest here. For me personally, it's easier to create this space for other children than it is for my own. So if there are parents out there that would struggle with this, I just want you to be very, very, very kind to yourself, and just maybe little steps, step by step, and most importantly, do it for you. Because what we've just said, because we're responsible for the emotional state, and our children, they pick up a lot more in terms of the communication non-verbally than verbally. It's so much more important, at least for me it's been, that I feel good in myself than what lessons of life I pass on to my children, kind of to be the good parent. And I love your quote on your website, which actually comes in really nicely, which is, let me find it. While we try to teach children all about life, children teach us what life is all about. It's just so spot on. If we just create space for children to really just be, they have all the solutions within them.
Yes.
Within them.
Probably it all starts with being present, because if you are constantly living in the past or the future, you're not even here. So how can you have an honest and open connection? So being present is so underestimated, being fully here. Because if you're not here, how can you know what your heart wants? And that was me when I was young, and I was running around and doing so many things and having a hectic social life and 2 jobs. And you're running, but there is no time to go and check on your body. What does it need? Maybe it just needs water or rest, or maybe you just need to soften your shoulders because you've been holding on to something, or just being present already gives you body awareness. Like, I had noticed I had a headache, or I even had noticed my headache was gone. If you're not here, there's so much that goes unnoticed, not just for our body, but also for what's happening in emotional life, because emotions are actually just like an energy in motion, and they come and they want to guide us to make decisions, to change, to learn. And if we just pop them in a bag, the bag is going to quickly fill up, and it's going to be super intense, because they're going to cause pains and tensions, or digestive issues, or anger, or frustration. And if we can process each emotion as it comes to us, I am super angry, or I'm super nervous, and just accept it. It's like an energy emotion. So it comes, you have it, it goes. And then it's fine. And that is what we are. We are feeling beings. We cannot just, what I think did when I was young, I was very mental, logical mind. Everything that I couldn't reason was not true. And then I learned I had to switch it around. I had to just first live with my heart and deal with my emotions and enjoy the emotional life as part of life, and give less power to the mental space. And then being present also gives us as parents the tool to know what's going on in our mind. What are we thinking constantly about our kids? What are we judging them for? What are we judging ourselves for? And being aware of what's going on in this loops, and how many of these thoughts are actually useful now, or can I just put them aside and give my mind space, because our mind is an incredible creative tool. And if we use it well, it can be another superpower. But if we leave it just to be in control of everything, it's going to just want to keep us safe. And we're going to be sitting in all this tension with a closed heart. So we need to balance these things out. So, yeah. And for my mind, what I learned from an amazing meditation teacher of mine was Sally Kempton, passed away this year. She told us, like, the mind is it's like a current, it's like a wave. It goes out and then goes back in. And if you kind of notice young kids playing, 1.5, 2 years old, they're very busy, busy, busy. And all of a sudden you see them lying on the grass, looking at something small, doing nothing, but just looking. And then all of a sudden they get up and they start acting again. And it's the same for our mind and our energy. We kind of have to go out and back in. And then we have this flow. That is life. Go out and go in. Even with social life, you go out and you go in. And then when you go back in, you have feedback of your mind, of your body. And you process what you have heard, what you have experienced. You can process it, and then you can go for a next experience in life with a fresh paper, or with new, fresh energy.
Oh, I love that. I love the analogy of the wave. Yeah. It's like ebb and flow of water, isn't it? Like water waves. Yeah. I love that. I think I could talk to you for hours, Liz. But I thought that maybe now's a good time to maybe share with the parents, grandparents, carers, caregivers about our 5-day challenge with Lorraine Murray of Connected Kids. Would you do the honors of explaining what it is? And that this is our invitation to next week and the Teach Meditation Challenge that we're supporting Lorraine with. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yes, so it's called Embrace.
Okay.
Yes. You wanted, you can explain it.
No, because I was waiting for you. You go.
So what Lorraine has set up is something new, because Connected Kids hasn't done that before. It's like a 5-day challenge for parents, grandparents, or the caregivers that would love to get inspired by easy and fun ways to bring mindfulness into their family, into their classroom. And probably they will enjoy the little activities too. So it will be online, and there will be a recording every day to listen to with an activity. There is a private Facebook group to join, to share, and to win prizes. It's not like the classical sales pitch where people want to sell you something. It's just a connection point. And that's why probably Lorraine calls it Connected Kids. And she's been working in children's meditation and teaching us adults for decades. So I think I can only encourage everyone to just sign up and join us next week and come and share what your experience is. And don't hesitate to come to the Q&A and ask all your silly questions and all your maybe your thoughts and questions about meditation and what it is and what it is not.
There's going to be a lot of support. I can confirm that. You're not going to be on your own, and also don't feel that you only have the 5 days to do it. Lorraine will be allowing extra time for everyone to be able to finish what they've started. So yeah, we'll share the links below, and come join us. The one thing that is Lorraine is very good at is making it fun and engaging. So it's not going to be, we're not going to be asking you sit on a cushion for half an hour. Certainly not.
There's going to be no PowerPoint presentation.
No.
And there's going to be all natural. Yes.
So I wonder if there's anything you'd like to share with the world, with the audience, before we finish, Liz?
Perhaps maybe I can share a metaphor, like, why would you want to add meditation to your life? And you can compare it with going on a 2-day mountain hike, you're going to need all the gear just to have the energy. You have to prepare. You have to get the rain jacket. You have to bring food. You have to prepare. The same way for life, if we use our qualities that we have in us, like within meditation, what do we use? We use being present. We use grounding, like a tree, deeply rooted. So we can support some storms. So it's actually building skills we already have, but we have just forgotten them a little bit. How to protect ourselves from intense situations or crowded places or intense people. How to protect our energy. And it's the same as going on a mountain hike. If you're for me, if life gets hard and you have these basic skills rolled out and practiced, then when life gets a little bit difficult, you will have your tools to really, go on and stay centered and still be present.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, Liz. I've had a wonderful time chatting to you. I do recommend everyone check out Liz's website. She's based in Switzerland but works online all over the world, I imagine. And do join us for the challenge next week. And yes, from my heart to yours and everyone else, have a beautiful rest of the day. And maybe come back for another podcast episode. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.
Your pleasure. Bye.